time to re-up, gotta recycle the flow. I'm emotional, I hug the block.
I was influenced by people at my school. I was influenced by my family members. My older brother has to be by far the most influential person. And as a young kid, you know, I remember wanting to be just like him. He was a tough guy. I wanted to be a tough guy. You know what I mean? He beat up people. I wanted to beat up people. And then when he turned 16, he joined an Asian gang, and I was like, that's weird. Yeah, I was like, yo, that's where you cross the line, dog. He was just like really into Asian girls. And I was like, yo, there's other ways to meet Asian girls. Like his AIM screen name was the Golden Dragon. And I was like, this is uncomfortable.
AIM.
But I think his plan worked because he ended up marrying a Vietnamese lady, and they have a Vietnamese child right now. I call him the Golden Dragon Jr. He's adorable. He's amazing. He's so cute, you know what I mean? His name is Leo. The problem with Leo right now is they're raising him very coddled, very soft in the streets of Bethesda, Maryland. You know, and as a comedian / uncle, I'm very concerned. You know what I mean? I want him to be tough and mentally prepared for the future. That's why recently I decided I'm going to be a little racist towards him. Just so he knows what it's going to be like to play pickup basketball in Silver Spring one day. So, you know, I pulled him to the side. It was his birthday. I was like, look, man, Leo, listen, I need to talk to you, man. Just want you to know, I might say some racist things from you from time to time. You know, I might talk to you in an Asian accent. But I want you to know it's because I love you and I want the best for you. And he didn't say nothing bad because he's still 3 years old. But he gave me his juice and I was like, respect. It's crazy, man, because I'm my family now, we're half Iranian, half Bolivian. My brother just married a Vietnamese lady, and now we have half of our family now is now Vietnamese. That's taking diversity to a whole nother level. Man, that's fucking unprecedented. And I'm learning so much about the Vietnamese culture. Things I never knew. You know, like one, I learned that it's cool for me to do a Latin accent because my mom's from Bolivia. I learned that it's cool for me to do an Iranian accent because my dad's from Iran. But the moment I do a Vietnamese accent, I ruin Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't know. I had to learn the hard way. It was Leo's birthday. He was turning 3. You know, 3-year-old, half Vietnamese, Bolivian, the most adorable kid you're ever gonna see in your life. So naturally, when I see him, I get excited. I'm like, who the big baby? Who the big baby? Huh? Come down, come. Oh, look at those cheeks, huh? Come say hi to Uncle Martin, huh? My sister-in-law was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing right now? Don't you ever talk to him like that again. And I'm like, how come your parents get to talk like that? Because they're fucking Vietnamese, you fucking idiot! I'm like, oh, my bad. You're right. Man. I'm going on my 8th year doing comedy this year. 8 years, stand-up comedy, 8 years. It's gonna be 8 years in June. Started in 2012. And after 8 years, I'm proud to announce that I'm not broke anymore, which is, that shit feels great. I've been promoted to poor, which, that's a different feeling, son. Being broke and being poor, that's 2 different feelings. I was broke for 7 years in a row. That shit's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to be in a relationship when you're broke, man. You gotta have a personality. You gotta be charming. You gotta know how to dance on beat and shit. But now that I'm making close to $30,000 a year, I'm like, what do you bring to the table? You know how to juggle? Nah? Then shut the fuck up, huh? I was having a debate with a friend not too long ago. He was like, yo, stand-up comedy has got to be the hardest job in the world. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think at best, it's a weird job. Like, this is my first social interaction of the day. Yeah, I woke up like a few hours ago. I was like, I had to get prepared, like, put on clothes and stuff. And but I was like, I got in my car and I had this revelation, like, I'm about to go to the Kennedy Center and make them laugh. You guys were like, we'll see. You know what I mean? That's an intense job. You know what I mean? I think personally the hardest job in the world has got to be a middle school teacher. That is, yes,
Maybe high school
that is
too.
the hardest job. I think teachers deserve more money. Either we give them a raise or we give them a gun. Yeah. Something to help with their self-esteem. Because as a comedian, I can relate to teachers. I know what it's like to be in a group of people who don't fuck with you. I know what it's like to have someone sitting 3 rows down be like, man, fuck your dreams. But if I had a gun right now, y'all would look at me a lot differently. Like, well, let's hear this guy out, I don't know, I feel like if my teacher had guns in high school, I turned in all my homework assignments sometimes. Like, where's your math homework? I don't got it. I'm like, oh, yes I do. This is like an ideal situation for me because I feel like this, there's a very diverse audience. It's very Montgomery College vibes. I feel like I'm looking at this like front row, it's looking like a community college brochure, like endless possibilities. Fall courses available right now. Sign up. Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, Rockville. Let's go. Everything. Lots of potential. You know what I mean? You got a future in air conditioning. My bad. No, because for me personally, I didn't realize how fortunate I was to grow up in the DC area until like a few years ago. Like, this has got to be the most open-minded liberal cities in the world. It really is. And, 100%. To have an Iranian, Bolivian comedian doing opening night at the Kennedy Center Reach is like, that's amazing, right? This would have never, to me, the idea of this is mind-boggling because after traveling the country doing comedy, I realized how fortunate I was. I recently had to do a show in Timonium, Maryland 3 years ago, which is not recent, but I'll never forget it. For those who aren't familiar with Timonium, Maryland, it's a pretty conservative area, a lot of Trump supporters, which is fine, you know what I mean? I don't mind doing, Trump shows because I have to pay my rent. And but it's not fun. It's like work. But I go there, I see half the crowd wearing MAGA hats, cowboy hats. I'm like, this is uncomfortable. But I do my job, I get on stage, do my thing, get off, a guy in a cowboy hat comes up to me like, hey man, I don't usually laugh at Mexicans, but you were hilarious. I'm like, thanks, dog, I appreciate that. I'm actually half Iranian, half Bolivian. He's like, yeah, I don't like them either. And I'm like, this is progress. You know what I mean? Who am I to judge? Because the truth is, the more I travel outside, the DMV, the more I realize there's different levels to white. You know what I mean? There is. You got your Shady Grove white, right? Then you got your Gainesville, Virginia white. Different vibes, different levels of white, different levels of blanquito. Nah, because I learned that by traveling. I would have never known this by having just been able to stay in. I had to go out of town. Because now, the further I go down on I-95 South, the more I'm afraid to see the American flag. Yeah, it might not be relatable to this section right here, but if I'm driving, if I see a Confederate flag, I know I'm in the wrong place. You feel me? I actually like seeing Confederate flag. I'm like, oh, not welcome. Good to know, good to know, good to know, good to know. Get back in the car, keep driving. If I'm driving down 99 South and I see a Cracker Barrel, a pickup truck, and a big American flag, I don't know. That's a lot of gray area. I'm gonna poop later. You know what I mean? Just keep driving to Florida, don't look back! Nah, because it makes me reflect on what type of American. I'm born and raised in Silver Spring, Never really been outside the country that much, but God forbid our country, something were to happen. Would I fight for my country? I thought about that, I'd fight for Maryland, DC, in parts of Virginia. The fuck game's on! Never again.
Time to re-up, gotta recycle the flow. I'm emotional. I hug the block.